27th and 6th. If I were to write honestly, I would write about my fear of staying in one place. And the first time we packed a suitcase together. Can't remember what we packed, what clothes we had. I think not many. Didn't know the journey would be ongoing, mostly together, from our first place of abode. The loft we shared with Ray and Gopalbai on 27th and 6th, above the prostitutes who tried to pick our pockets when we walked up the stairs, and below the noisy beat band and ceiling that shook every time they played. The ceiling you plastered with different colored paper. Our own true map of the world. Well, I think that I've inherited a certain amount of restlessness from my father, who was a very restless man. He was in World War II and had experienced a lot of trauma. And for some reason or another, that trauma, I believe, somehow was passed on to myself and my sister. But then but even though restlessness doesn't necessarily have to be a trauma, but I guess that's how I'm thinking of it now. But I also met a man and was attracted to a man who had just spent the last 3 years traveling and hitchhiking to India from Denmark overland and back again and back again. And I was attracted to this restlessness, which I think is because I contain that. And so to answer the bit about traveling, I think traveling for just the sake of traveling is helpful, but I think there's something that goes a lot deeper than that. And I think a lot of us, including myself, are running away from ourselves, or think that if we get from point A to point B, we'll be happier there. And one of the poems in the book is this line from Kai Miller. It starts with a line from Kai Miller. He says, "If I were to write honestly, I would write about," and then I answer, about my fear of staying in one place, because that is a fear that I have. So it's been a big challenge for me the last few years to stay in one place, although I have done some traveling and still think about traveling. But I think I've gotten to realize that traveling is not necessarily a cure for what ails me. Whereas writing poems, not that it's a cure, but it's a release and it's a help. And then I think through poetry and through the last years that I've been writing poetry, it has taken me to a totally different place, which in a way is much more fulfilling.